I don't have a lot to say about the ideation of this game. No good info on where or why it exists. We can only assume that it was to get in on that extreme rodent need. The children crave cool rodents, and they need role models.
There is a form of multimedia entertainment beyond that which is good. These games are as vast in number as they are terrible. They dwell in the dark recesses of history, unearthed from the pits of the bargain bin. These are the games of horror. This is Garbage Game Night.
You may have seen GGN has a mascot, a friendly raccoon, because we're always digging through that trash looking for treasure. And in my journeys of scavenging, I found some brethren to our mascot. At first, I thought this was a coincidence, but we may have a conspiracy afoot. I found enough games to put together a theme this evening. Tonight, we're taking a look at several games in an episode I call Rejected Rodent Mascots of Video Games. It rolls off the tongue. I didn't have to think about it at all. Odd enough that one of the most popular video game mascots of all time is a hedgehog, which, look, Frank's probably ready. He's chomping at the bit to cut me off. Technically not a rodent, a hedgehog, you know? Well, or some of the things we're talking about tonight, not rodents either, all right? We're playing fast and loose. We talk about video games here, all right? Not animal kingdom classification. So Sonic isn't technically a rodent, but it seems there was a trend to pick small animals, give them badass attitudes, and tap into that ratitude angle of the 90s, like, you know, no fear t-shirts perfectly encapsulated. So, unintentionally, all the games tonight are from 1993. I've been playing in the background of our Twitch stream commercials from 1993 to get in the mindset. There's a lot of Nerf guns and cereal commercials, cereal and lactose-based foods we were finding. And we're big in pushing those. So, but Big Milk. They had a budget in the 90s. But to get us in the mindset,
which is weird, you know.
Yeah.
Who else is, you know? You ever see an apple ad, like the fruit, you know? Apples, you know.
They taste so good.
Yeah. Big Fruit. They don't have a.
I mean, well, actually, I think Chiquita used to do commercials, right?
Yeah, Chiquita. It was big in the marketing space.
Fruit of the Loom. Remember those?
Different.
Yeah, I don't think you ate that, Victor. Well, you weren't. You weren't supposed to eat it.
Wait, there's a Sonic commercial on our TV right now, and I'm not sure what's happening. They're using it to chop vegetables.
They mopped up the couch. This is a bizarre.
Like I think their angle was, what can't it do? Sonic 2, get it now.
Yeah, I think maybe you
How about that?
Right.
Well, speaking of which,
nowadays they'd be sued for false advertising.
I'll just throw it out. They were offering to sell that. You could call in and send in your money order for it. It was $54 plus shipping and handling to order Sonic 2. Yeah, we get up in arms about video games, but the prices were kind of all over the place at the time. And I was going to mention, at the time, the biggest video games in 1993 were Star Fox, Aladdin, Gunstar Hero, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2, and in the theater we had Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, and Demolition Man. Those are the movies coming out in 93. So, yeah, kind of rapid fire tonight. We're going to be looking at a handful of failed video game mascots. The first game that we're doing tonight, it tells you everything you need to know in the title. This game is Awesome Possum Kicks Dr. Machinos Butt.
Dr. Machino feels like a real ripoff of Sonic the Hedgehog's Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah. Sonic was big at the time, and you're going to see a theme of people, developers, just trying their best to get in that rodent market. So as you can see from the box cover art here, it has our hero, a possum, hanging onto the back of a rhino.
It
doesn't look that much like a possum, if we're being honest.
Well, like is it? Well, no, not an American possum, but.
Hit us with it, Frank.
We're in America.
I understand that, but you know, Sega. Where's Tengen from?
This was an international release, and they are a Japanese-based company.
Yeah, I think Japanese possums, or it's.
You better prove it. You better prove it right now.
This up. Yeah.
Frank, this is garbage game. Stop defending the games.
Japanese possum.
Yeah. Okay.
Put it on the stream.
Yeah.
If we polled people and said, "What animal is that?"
I'd say some kind of, it might be closer to a raccoon. It's got a striped tail, you know?
Yeah, striped tail. Honestly, to me, it looks kind of like a little monkey, kind of.
So you can see on the box art here that it has our hero, a possum, hanging off the back of a rhino. The rhino is crushing a robot underfoot, and you see some other robots in the background with chainsaws on a mission of deforestation. And the possum has a speech bubble that says, "I'm going to clean up this world yet," which isn't the coolest catchphrase. It's not just the environmentalism of it.
Now I see a can.
Yeah, there's
Is he
some.
cleaning up that can, or is he throwing the can?
I think he's cleaning it up.
I think he's throwing it into the ocean.
Like I said, the environmentalism. He's doing some recycling on his mission as well. But yeah, his catchphrase, "I'm going to clean up the world yet." That's what everyone knows him for. That, you know, it's how he ends his catchphrase with a conjunction. It's it could have been workshopped a little bit more. But and from the back of the box, it says, ready to kick a little ecological butt. Awesome Possum is here to clean up the world. How can you help? Don't worry. Awesome will tell you, which, let me pause there. Apparently his first name is Awesome.
Wait, when you say kick a little ecological butt, doesn't it imply that he be kicking the butt
damage.
of the plants?
Yeah.
I hope that's what it is. I hope that Dr. Machinist is trying to actually...
He's the environmentalist and we're trying to stop him.
Yes.
It's a wicked situation.
And I hope
Brian.
on the
it's
front...
like the roles reversed.
Yeah, he's throwing that can on the cover.
So Awesome will tell you, with more than 80 different audio phrases, Awesome Possum is the first Genesis cartoon character who really talks, and he's got a lot to say. You and Awesome take on the littering Dr. Machina. Oh, we've cleared it up now. And his chainsaw goons clean up rancid rubbish and fight putrid pollution, and collect recyclables to win big points. Test your eco knowledge and score bonus points by answering questions about nature and the environment. So if the bad guys pollute, give them the boot and help save the trees, the oceans, and Mother Earth herself. It includes a free full-color comic book, which I have scoured the depths of the internet to dig up. Don't worry, I've got that for you guys. But first, we're going to jump in and look at a little bit of this. Tom, you unsuspectingly have downloaded the virus already. If you could launch the program that I walked you through earlier.
You tricked me.
He's got his own little theme song.
I'm
Awesome.
I don't like the voice. I didn't expect that.
He's also, they drew his eyes as if he's crazed. He's got rabies or something.
Yeah.
In 20 years, mankind has automated the destruction of the environment.
Why?
It's like it was so much trouble before. Governed by the twisted Dr. Machino, the world has little hope of survival.
Interesting.
One last force stands against the evil robots. That force is...
Shouldn't you be Australian while you're reading this?
Awesome Possum.
There you go.
Tom is just going to do his best because I know his favorite thing in the world is platformers. I'm going to start off with saves the environment in the rainforest, level 1. All
Wait,
right.
when they say he's the only force, is everyone else dead? Oh God, what's happening?
Everyone's dead.
What is happening? Is that me? Why am I running?
Everybody.
Oh, I think
You're
Sonic.
not playing the game.
I'm not playing the game.
Tom's watching the demo and
That was bizarre. I thought I was going, man. Oh, okay, there we go.
okay, you're in it now.
That's-
Okay.
seems
I
more
can
like-
I can pop a squat.
Uh-huh.
I can jump. I can
Yep.
jump.
Super
I
high.
can jump. And
That might be
it.
most of the controls. I think that's pretty much it.
oh,
All right.
get those cans. Ah!
Logs will break. We're just checking out the beginning of Tom playing. I think he destroyed a F-16. It looked like in the air there. There's some robots.
Wow.
They're up in the trees, cutting the limbs off, not the
Not the tree itself, just the limb. I think they're just
the
trimming the
limbs.
tree.
There's a bee with wings, like a
Oh,
letter
You
B
just
with
need to
wings.
really,
Oh, you can Sonic.
surface.
team maintenance.
If I jump on them, you murdered them.
So you're bouncing around, collecting some trash. It looks like. What is that? A newspaper. It's still rolled
Just
up, but it's like floating in the sky. So
sky.
it's important to recycle, though. So, we got a bouncer
Whoa.
that launched you through the air.
I said,
Now, because we're playing this with methods that are necessary in 2023. How is the frame rate of the game? I just want to make sure this part's clear. The frame rate and how it handles.
the frame rate feels pretty smooth.
Not what I was looking for, but that's fine. That's fine. It's your opinion.
I mean, it does not handle well. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Compared to Sonic feels smoother.
I think where they went wrong with this game,
Uh-huh.
the only place,
Yeah.
is just his voice.
Yeah. It's a little annoying, right?
I think if they had a cooler voice,
Now, this wasn't made clear from what we've looked at, but that bee there, you can ride the bee.
You can ride him.
You can ride that giant bumblebee.
Wait,
This game's amazing.
Wow.
It is
it's
a bee. It's a bumblebee twice the size of an opossum. Yeah.
Wait, there are
Australian
planes
brush tail.
smaller than that bee.
We've
That's
seen you
true.
destroy some of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like literally, there are.
All right, so Tom is working his way through the jungle. He's got some very, I'm thinking like Lion King jumping through the flat parts of these trees. There's some seesaws. You got to jump on one side. The rock flies up, and you get launched up in the air.
Do you see in the
Tom's
top
working
left?
his way through this.
My face
his health
gets sadder as I get more hurt.
Yeah, the old
face
Doom
gets
method.
deader.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess
You
I'll
look
jump.
like you're roadkill.
All right, Tom's going for it. You can't see where you're going. You're just jumping off into the abyss. There's robots with chainsaws running around. Oh, you found a secret area. Oh, we got all his life back.
My health, yeah.
Check this out.
I like how they said too. They're like, it's the only mascot that talks. Like that's how we'll beat Sonic.
He'll have a really annoying voice.
That's true.
And sure enough, Tom's got to the end of the level, and what do we see at the end? It's kind of a little gate that you run through and break. All right, and we've reached our first. It looks like a tribunal of animals looking down at you.
I would have to say Kansas.
So, which U.S. state uses the most wind-driven electric power? Connecticut, Kansas, or California?
But I don't
and again,
know what
you don't know which button's which. So, good luck, Tom.
I think I did A, B, C. Okay, I want to say Kansas, and I think this is B.
That's the wrong answer.
No,
C
I didn't
is the
want to
answer
pick-
to this question. California
It
uses
was
the most
California.
wind-driven electric power. All right, so Awesome Possum was created by Tengen for the Genesis. Tengen, you might not be familiar with, but has a quite notable story surrounding them. So I'm going to go off on a tangent here. After the arcade crash of Tangent for Tengen. So after the arcade crash of 1983, which we touched on briefly before, Atari is absolutely hemorrhaging money. They're doing some restructuring. They've split into two companies now, the console side of the company and the games company. So this newly managed division of Atari Games, their job is to be profitable making video games in 1987. So they surmised the landscape in 87. And what you've got is the Atari 7800, which is... Did you just get destroyed by a saw blade?
Yeah.
He just
Yeah, they don't
he
play
just
around.
disintegrated
And I
like
decomposed.
Indiana Jones.
The landscape for consoles in 1987, you've got the Atari 7800, which is floundering, and the Sega Master System, which was out but wasn't licensing to third parties yet. But what's killing it in 87 is the NES. It's been out for a few years in Japan and a couple years in North America and was getting more and more popular. So you think, well, they should just make games for the NES. Well, they wanted to, but for legal reasons, they couldn't publish under the name Atari, and because of like their splitting and licensing and stuff. So they created a subsidiary called Tengen. So for all intents and purposes, Atari is Tengen. So Nintendo, notoriously strict with their licensing at this time. We all remember, like, you remember the Nintendo seal of quality, that little sticker they had on all their things? The purpose of that was to make sure that garbage wasn't associated with their systems. What with the crash in the 80s showing how volatile the market could be, they wanted to make sure that there was a controlled amount of games coming out, and when you bought a game for the NES, you could be sure it was something that was going to work and you'd enjoy it. And the rules were pretty strict. Nintendo licensees, the companies making the games, only released 5 games a year. They had to submit them to the Nintendo for approval, and they were required to be NES exclusive for 2 years. And Nintendo could make changes like remove blood, anything that they found objective, like religious symbols. And then the big one was you had to buy your cartridges from Nintendo. So any game a developer made for Nintendo, you'd be paying like $7 to $14 per cartridge to Nintendo for them to make the cartridges. And the minimum production run was 10,000 units. So it was pretty restrictive. The reason you had to use their cartridges was because they had their own proprietary chip inside the NES that essentially did like a security check inside the NES system. And, only those cartridges would work in an NES. So to be clear, this was like a big shakeup for NES to do this in the industry. And some people, like back at the parent company of Atari, were like who the hell do these newcomers think they are? We're Atari. We made home consoles a thing. And Atari's COO, Dan Van Elderen, said it was as if Ford had made a car that only used Ford gas. Like, that's not the way the industry works. And the folks at Atari Tengen, like, they tried their best to negotiate with Nintendo, and Nintendo's like, Atari games on NES, hell yeah, people are going to love that, but we're not going to give you an inch on like our demands for you making games for us. So Tengen's finally like, all right, we'll stick to your regulations. They get their licensee approval, and they published their first 3 games with the Nintendo seal of approval. It was Gauntlet, Pac-Man, and RBI Baseball, games that were very popular and did very well. So they're all smiles and friendly with Nintendo on the surface, but meanwhile, for the past year in the dark dungeons of Atari engineering, they've been scheming and trying to break the lockout chip on the Nintendo cartridge so they can build their own cartridges and avoid those licensing fees and publish as many games as they want for the NES. But their engineers just can't figure out how to do it. So they go to the US Copyright Office and they tell them that, hey, we're in a lawsuit regarding this copyright for the chip inside the NES cartridge. We need to see it. And otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to copy the coding on the chip. So they lied about needing to see the copyright, and the Copyright Office just gave it to them. And now they had the key to break the Nintendo lockout chip, and it worked. They created their own chip that would talk to the NES system called the Rabbit chip. I'll pause there because you've got a question. 5.4 billion people live on planet Earth.
If the current rate of population growth continues, by the year 2050, there will be, let's say 15. Yay!
Side note, Chris, you know that handheld emulator I got?
Yeah.
So it actually has this game on it.
Oh, yeah?
So I played through. I got to level 3, and then I died too many times in a row, and then game over.
Wait, like tonight? Oh, okay. I thought you were remembering that you've done it before. I was like, holy shit.
No. I just played it right now.
Gotcha.
Wait, you played it just now, and you got that much further?
I got to level 3, and then I died too many times.
But Tom is playing a lot faster now. In the beginning, he was being very tentative, like you could with Sonic as well. But like you can play this like you're running across the stage and just barely missing stuff, you know?
Son of...
Yeah, there's a whole lot of...
a lot of saw blades.
Launchers that'll just throw you. You feel like halfway across the map, but the maps are so big.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, I still got.
It's a game built for speed running. So preemptively, they launch a lawsuit against Nintendo, claiming antitrust, and start sending out their own cartridges to stores with the Tengen seal of quality. These were cartridges that the Rabbit chip worked in the NES, but were notably not the standard gray NES cartridge that you think of. They were matte black and with more rounded edges, and they were the first unlicensed NES cartridges. Nintendo gets news that they're being sued, and like, what? Our friends at Atari Tengen? No. And also the cartridges start showing up, so naturally Nintendo leadership was like, crush them. So no unlicensed games allowed. And Tengen offered to drop the lawsuit if Nintendo would allow them to make their own games, but Nintendo wouldn't back down. The Nintendo vice president at the time said, I thought to myself, you have no idea what you have taken on. A tiger who will skin you piece by piece.
Oh,
that was a quote by the Nintendo vice president. Just chill, bro. Nintendo countersues. They figured out that Tengen had lied to get the copyright code for their chip, but surprisingly, most of the media who was reporting on this took Tengen's side, not because the law seemed like it was on their side, but because Tengen had been releasing a lot of games, unlicensed games on the NES with their Rabbit chip, including even Sega games. And the media was like, hey, more open market. This is a win for consumers. Nintendo's this juggernaut that's becoming more powerful. It controls the NES, and they shouldn't control what games we get to play. Conveniently ignoring that Nintendo's seal of approval probably helped the system succeed and get to where it was at the time. But anyway, Nintendo went to Toys R Us and other stores and was like, we will not sell you any Nintendo products if you also sell Tengen products. And that worked. They bullied Target, Walmart, Toys R Us out of selling Tengen cartridges. So the lawsuits went on for many years. At one point, it was proven that Tengen pretty badly copied the exact copyrighted chip from Nintendo, and they hadn't just like bypassed it or reverse engineered it. They just straight out stole it and put like unnecessary code that was in the original copyright in the chip. But in another suit, a judge ruled that if you were to reverse engineer something, using that information is fair use. So after 4 years from the beginning of this, the legal battle finally ends, the court telling Tengen to stop selling their cartridges. But this whole fiasco made a couple of important changes in the industry. First, it changed how you could get access to copyrighted materials. You can't just go in and ask and get, stuff like that. Later, they'd have to prove that they were in a lawsuit at least. 2, later antitrust claims pushed Nintendo to back off their 2-year exclusivity deal, which I think was probably like the biggest thing. Any game that went on the NES was NES exclusive for 2 years. That was a big deal. And like I mentioned, the legal view of reverse engineering something, then using that information was later kind of changed in law to be fair use. So as far as the fate of Tengen, even though they were blacklisted from some stores, their sales went up 40% when they were publishing their own cartridges. Then in 1994, a year after the game that we're playing, Time Warner did another shuffle and Tengen was absorbed into another arm, marking the end of Tengen. So just to shore up a little bit about unlicensed games on the NES, after Tengen broke through, a stream of other companies did the same thing. In all, there were about 270 unlicensed games released on the NES compared to about more than 700 officially licensed ones. I was watching a video from a YouTuber called Big Ol' Word. He was talking about his collection of NES cartridges, and he has a ton of unlicensed one. He was saying most of them are just crap. They struggle to work because there's different ways of bypassing that lockout chip. Some of them would even have switches on the cartridge that you'd have to like flip because it would work on this model of an NES, but not on another one. So yeah, if you've ever seen an odd looking NES cartridge, it's not necessarily a Tengen game, but they were the ones who started it. So yeah, that's my Tengen tangent.
Ha!
Beautiful. The
tangent.
Ha!
How's it going, Tom? You're fighting a guy with a flamethrower?
Yeah, he's really
Sometimes
mean.
it seems like you have 0 health and then you get hit and you're still alive.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the guy who killed me last.
There you go.
Oh, he did it. Oh, he got a checkpoint at least. Oh, another animal tribunal. How many trees can you save in a year by recycling your newspaper every day?
I feel like it should be impactful in order to. So I'm going to say C. Shit.
B is the correct answer. It was 4 trees. Wow. So, yeah, that's the story of Tengen. I left out a lot of nuance. I'd highly recommend checking out the YouTube channel Gaming Historian if you're interested in stories like that, stories that shape the gaming industry. He does an amazing job highlighting the people in the games, and he did a story on that was much more detailed than mine. God. That was really just the cliff notes. Oh, we have found the underwater level.
The underwater.
Those metal fish? Those are metal fish, right?
Are they mean to me?
I feel like they'd be... Oh, no, you're good.
They're nice.
He dared. Fish. He dared and he wasn't hurt.
Oh, look out for the swimming chainsaws or whatever. Or table saws. I don't know what those are.
What about this red fish?
Watch your fingers.
That red one
Circular,
seems suspicious.
Yeah, I was going to say, Frank.
Oh, what about him? He seems nice.
Manta Ray's nice.
Get on him.
Yay!
Yeah. Friend.
Let's go, Manta Ray. He has a flamethrower underwater?
I think it's a harpoon.
Yeah. No, it's a flamethrower. Let's go back for it.
That's a flamethrower.
Yeah.
That robot's got a flamethrower.
Underwater.
I'm waiting until Tom dies here, and then I'll continue my notes.
Watch out for the
How
sub.
big am I? Maybe that's the real question.
Yeah, missiles.
Maybe I'm
bees are huge. Oh, you've got some life back. I think by collecting stuff, you get life back, Tom.
Awesome Possum is gigantic.
He's larger than life.
I'm larger than life. Oh, he's gone.
Manta Ray's gone, and you're just walking on the seafloor.
So I learned that with the bee, they only go for a certain amount of distance.
I'm reading here. It's because you exhaust them to the point of death, and then they just disappear.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's
Tom
tricky
is coming back here.
How little you see.
Metal electric eels. Yeah, you want the screen to zoom out, but this is 1993, and you are graced with like one body width to your left and right.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll be like flying across the screen and then you'll just land on something sharp.
There's no way to know except through playing this game hundreds of times, which, that was the reality in 1993. All right, so we're talking about it. Tom has pulled himself away from the brink here. He's got a whole life left and half a health bar. But we're talking about a game that came out, they made in 1993 for a completely different system, the Genesis, because while the lawsuits were going on, the Sega Genesis was starting to get a decent market share. So in 1993, a year before Tengen was absorbed, they developed a game for the Genesis called Awesome Possum. And I'm going to briefly skim through the manual that came with the game. It had a comic book to give us some backstory. That voice line was, "Now you've gone and done it." So catchy. It's like, God, that's a badass character.
They picked such an annoying voice. It's really... All the speed of the last level is gone, and it's just a slog.
Yeah, if there was anything Sonic-like, it is not here.
Okay, you have a fucking missile that locks on? Fuck off.
That's cheating. I'm a possum.
I'm convinced that this is a like Godzilla possum, though.
It's a kaiju.
Yes, a kaiju possum.
So also in the settings, you can actually change how much he talks.
You can. Video games these days often lack a how much self-talk can I have my character do, but Awesome Possum was ahead of the curve there. All right, so from the manual, we've got let's see, a little intro here. He says the pollution is gruesome, but with a possum this awesome, anything is possible. What a mess we're in. For hundreds of years, we humans have carelessly polluted our planet, and what we didn't litter, the twisted Dr. Machino and his evil auto-polluting robots have now dirtied up but good. What?
Who designed those?
Dirtied up but good?
That's what it says. Is there any hope left in this for this tired old planet Earth? You bet. One last force opposes Dr. Machino and his messy minions. One final hope shines forth in our 11th hour quest to clean up our act and honor our environment. That force is Awesome Possum.
I'm sorry, if there's only one possum left, I think it's done.
That's a lot of pressure.
Who's he gonna procreate with afterwards? Like, there's.
Well, as I'm sure Frank can help us with, possums are, what is it, asexual? Like they're able to breed without.
Are they like scorpions?
Without a
Are
mate.
they?
No, they're not.
They are. There's a special
sound
pouch.
right, but he's saying it, and I believe it.
Yeah, especially the brush-tail possum, which is not the bush-tail, and I know Frank got that wrong earlier, so I don't want that to damage his credibility on this.
Things, though.
Yeah. But if you look it up, you'll find that they don't.
There's a very accurate comic kind of explaining the situation here, though. So this is the comic they included. Awesome Possum. He was once a mild-mannered marsupial. Now he patrols the planet as Awesome Possum, environmental mega hero. And it starts off with there he was with his family chilling in a tree, and Dr. Machino, who looks like he has his kind of a tread situation going on for his legs. He's got a blowtorch and a chainsaw for a hand.
Oh, I think that's just one of the bosses.
He's taking out his tree. Oh, maybe. I think that might be Dr. Machino, though. Anyway, so he cuts down the family tree, teams up with a rhino and a bee. There's a little side story here, not relevant to the main plot of the game, about him going to the Arctic. But anyway, so he's going to team up with his friends to take on Dr. Machino and, what would you know it, kick his butt. That's the end of the comic here as well.
Wow.
And then there's some information about what you can do to make an impact. So, yeah, environmentalism, it was big back in the 1993 with possums. All right, so that's the manual.
This feels like one of those attempts at trying to sneak learning into my fun.
I just want to kick butt. I don't want to learn.
Right, I didn't want.
There are a couple things that I know about the development of this game, and it is all recorded shockingly because of another lawsuit. Get this, someone sued Tenjin for stealing the idea of Awesome Possum. In short, a guy came up with the idea for an environmentally conscious possum named Awesome Possum in 1985. Didn't tell anyone until 1993. I don't know how you do that. You come up with an idea like that and you're going to sit on it for 8 years? No, you gotta get out there. The same year, when he told everyone about it and had written a manuscript, the same year that Tenjin released a game that had been in development for at least a year. Most of the lawsuit revolves around some similarities with the comic book that we just glanced over with his manuscript, but it doesn't really matter. I bring it up because most of the development details that we have, like on the Wikipedia and anywhere, are from the court evidence. And that's a fun way to learn about a video game through a deposition. So anyway, this guy who worked for Tenjin, a game developer by the name of Richard Seaborn, he'd go on to lead some departments for sports games in the 2000s and was a studio manager for Xbox Fitness and Kinect. But back in 93, he came up with the idea of Awesome Possum, banking on, mascot characters and the popularity of Captain Planet. And it went through a redesign with an art designer, Jules Marino, who would next year do the art for Primal Rage, a more popular game. In 1993, Sonic was huge at the time. Sonic 2 had just come out. Everybody loved fast rodents, and they figured the kids love recycling and fast possums, so perfect. We got our game. Oh, you had to start over, Tom?
I died, yeah. And then my grave, the tombstones were covered in trash.
Damn.
The irony is, though,
make you want to boot it back up.
But you know what? Respect to Dr. Machinist for burying me properly. He fished me out of the water.
Yeah.
And gave me a proper burial. And
hero's burial.
It was a lot of trash around, so not ideal. Wow. But he could have just left me there,
So some notable things about the game. It's got a ton of digitized speech, which we can hear. He won't stop talking. Really unusual for the Genesis. It's hard to get digitized speech sounding good with the amount of space available on the cartridge. Famously, the Sega intro, if the white screen where the Sega logo comes down into place and there's kind of a chorus going, Sega, that thing. Games that took generally about a tenth of the space on the cartridge just to do that intro.
What?
So yeah, it's to fit 80 voice lines on a cartridge. They really compress those bad boys, which probably is why it sounds so annoying and kind of whiny. But that's why you don't hear voice lines. It just can't fit on the size. But the gameplay, it is kind of Sonic-esque. You can at times move quickly across the screen. There's bumpers, springs. You pick up trash for cycling points. All right, we're moving on to the plot. This game, it lives up to its title. You fight your way to the final level, fighting Dr. Machino. And I mean, I can play the end of the game here for you. You can stop playing when you want to, Tom, because we got more things to see, actually.
Oh, okay. I'm done.
Okay.
Wait,
Don't tell me twice.
Should I just add?
So he's fighting Dr. Robotnik, and he kind of phases out of his suit. He's mad that you've defeated Dr. Machino. He assumes the position for some reason. You kick him square in the tuchus. It ends with an image of Awesome Possum's head on Mount Rushmore. He was added as thanks for saving the world. Is that the most progressive?
No ecological damage when you carve a mountain.
Yeah, is it the most ecologically friendly thing you could have done? Put his head on the side of a mountain? Probably not. But who am I to judge? He saved the fucking planet, so he's a war hero. Right there.
Throw him a bone.
Yeah.
Is there a giant hand on Mount Rushmore?
There is now.
That looks like it's his.
Do you think from then on, like whenever he littered or anything like that, he just felt like very much so like he earned the right to do it? Like a cop went over and was like, sir, Mr. Awesome, you can't litter. And he's like, I do what I fucking want. We'd all be dead if not for me. My rhino friend, he passed away 3 years ago from an overdose because of the shit that we went through. You understand? So if I want to drop this cigarette butt on the ground, I'm gonna do it.
I'm already extinct, man.
But don't worry, I can reproduce by myself.
Right. I can't.
Just like real possums.
Yeah. Don't you know anything?
Maybe a female possum could do parthenogenesis, but I don't
No,
know.
I'm a male. I'm as male as it gets,
Despite
and I can do
what
it
Frank
just fine.
says.
Yeah, I actually
Right. Read a book.
Victor really knows his stuff, so I know that Victor is correct.
Yeah, siding with Victor on this one.
Literally, Frank did not know that scorpions procreate by stabbing things with their penis stinger.
The tail.
So.
It's true. That's true.
Yep. The gameplay is about an hour. It's this long play video that I pulled up was 51 minutes. That's decent. It's decent for a gameplay like this, action game of this era. We're gonna jump right into the reviews. I'll jump back in the video to show a little bit more of the gameplay. We can skip past the water level. We've seen what that looks like. The water levels keep going. It is a good half the game, it looks like. Good grief. All right, we're into the snow levels. As far as reception of this game, we're going off Moby Games' average of 12 reviews they put together. You guys want to throw some guesses together since I don't have any points on the board. Frank, unprompted, started playing the game, but he didn't get as far as Tom, so I'm going to give Tom extra points for that for some reason, because I make the rules up. And yeah, you guys want to take some guesses about what you think this game received from the critics?
A 58.
93?
Okay. And Victor.
No, I'm saying 1993.
Oh, yeah.
Nice save, Frank. Nice save.
I think in 93, Sonic was already out though, right?
Yeah, Sonic 2 had been out. Had just come out.
62?
62, and Victor.
Go 70.
70 is too high. Tom got it correct, as the average was 52%. GamePro said 3.5 out of 5. Awesome Possum may not be awesome, but it'd be close if it weren't for the repetitive, lackluster graphics. If the other Critter games are making you feel like hibernating for the winter, you may want to curl up with Awesome. Which I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Electronic
that
games.
sounds sexual.
He wouldn't need you anyway, though.
Yeah, he can reproduce by himself.
He could do it by himself. Yeah, so you'd be fine. It's just
That's true. He wouldn't touch you.
Yeah, also he's the size of a building, so it's...
Well, easily.
Yeah.
Or very tiny.
Or we don't know. He looked larger than Dr. Machino when he was fighting him. But we don't know the size of Dr. Machino either. It's the future, and they've automated the destruction of the environment.
Chris,
so.
well, why are we talking about what their size is? Come on, man.
Electronic
Size
Games,
family show.
not EGM, gave a 93 out of 100.
He just ignores me.
See?
Moving on. They say, in any case, Awesome Possum certainly has its heart in the right place. There are very few games that can produce this level of head-banging thrills. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were paid for that.
EGM gave it a 31 out of 50. Again, the scales here are just all over the place. 31 out of 50. The scrolling is a bit too choppy to make this a game with long-term appeal. And Random Access says 2 out of 10. Yet another scoring system. Like, these people are making up their own scoring systems. Can you imagine that? Who would do that?
Ridiculous.
Awesome Possum isn't awesome at all. In fact, he should change his name to the more apt Flossum Possum.
Wow.
That would best describe both his character and this embarrassing stink of a game. Don't ever look for it on purpose. Use it as a disposable coaster or for batting practice. By the way, Awesome Possum was released on Christmas Day in Japan. Merry Christmas, Japan. You'll be clamoring for coal soon enough.
Wow.
What?
Do you think he was proud of that? Do you think
he was, when he submitted that one to the editor, he was like nailed it.
it seems smug, doesn't it? Like
it does.
He wrote it and was like, that is gold right there. That is.
Well, normally we talk about someone else's treasure section. User reviews from the early 90s are tough to get by, but every single one that I found was online was pretty savage about how it might be the worst platformer of all time. The one positive that I saw, like I mentioned, was someone saying there's an option to make him shut up. We're actually going to hold our reviews because we got some other games to look at.
It was certainly not the worst.
Not the worst platformer of all time, yeah.
Come on.
Tom has 150 points. That is amazing, Tom.
Yeah.
He's gotten a lot more Drew Carey about it lately.
Because Frank has 10 now. I don't know.
No, don't worry. The points do not matter anymore.
I just don't understand. I thought that the knowledge of possums, brush-tailed possums being able to procreate alone.
I was actually just thinking that you brought that information, so I've gone ahead and added 75 to the board for that.
You know what? And and for the sake of integrity, I would like to punitively, I'd like to punish myself for the IGN EGM error.
Sure, I've taken one off the board for you there.
Chris, can you give yourself a point or two? I mean, how are you this evening?
Me? I'm
Oh my God. This is gross.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get something to display it.
What?
Okay. He's gonna get his TV.
Wait, what about
use the thing I sent you?
He's got a system.
Do it on your computer.
He's gone.
He's gone already.
Yeah, he's gone. Take a point
what
away.
Does that even
on your computer? What are you talking about? I think he wants to play it from his emulator. He's probably thinking of sending the signal from his handheld emulator to.
Did you fully trick me with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Like we're not.
Well, I mean, I put an extra ROM in there on purpose and had you test with it.
Wow.
The integrity of keeping the game secret is important to me.
I told Hunter today. That I was like, we're playing Teenage Mutant Turtles, and I was like, that's crazy. I was like, what? I was like, that was a really fun game back in the day. I was like, I'm really surprised that's going to be on GGN. And I was like, I'm so excited to play. And I was like, I was literally thinking of different things to say and
about Teenage Mutant Turtles.
Yeah, I do feel bad that Frank doesn't know a lot of animals because I feel like he likes them. He's
really passionate about them, but he doesn't know anything.
Understand them.
Yeah.
Everyone's a different kind of learner. Frank just sort of
he's the kind that isn't.
Wants to. Yeah. I mean, that's
that
fine.
Doesn't.
It's like how some people are smart on the inside. Frank's smart on the outside. But doesn't.
Man, this feels great, Victor.
The internet.
They make fun of me for being stupid all the time, and
you finally found.
This is my first time to be like, hey. We're not making fun of Tom for being dumb. You know what I think we should do, Victor? I think we should tip Chris points, as if we were at a poker table.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like when he gives us points, we should be like, hey, you know what? Keep 9 for yourself.
Oh,
that's
nice.
True. Yeah.
You know what?
Gratuity.
For the sake of it, for the sake of starting us off, Chris, why don't you give yourself 49 points from me?
Wow, 49 points. That's awfully bold.
Very generous.
Oh, no. This guy's nightmare fuel.
Oh, God.
Rocky Rodent.
Oh,
he looks like a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of guy, right?
He's scarier.
He looks like the hell version of Awesome Possum with spray paint.
Oh, man. No, he's scary.
We're watching the demo screen right now, and he is he's a character.
Is his tongue hanging out of his mouth?
He's constantly got his tongue hanging out of his mouth like the Tasmanian devil, I think. I think that was a thing in the 90s. To go fast, you'd want your tongue hanging out of your mouth.
His hair falls out when he gets hit?
Was that his hair? Yeah, what's happening?
Oh my God!
You picked up a hairspray can and you put your hair back on.
What kind
right
of
now he's doing a road
this?
running sequence.
Oh my God.
He's running over cars.
He looks insane.
He doesn't have I don't know if he has pants on, but he has a running jersey, and then he has some sneaks.
He's just
sneaks
ass
on as well.
out.
Yeah.
Are those mobsters that are shooting at him?
Yeah,
okay.
it's mobsters.
And why are people punching him with like.
We'll get into the plot. We'll get into it as soon as Frank can give us the audio. Yeah, it was the 90s. It was a different time.
Man.
Okay, all right.
We're moving on to our next rejected rodent mascot. This one's certainly a rodent, as the title of the game confirms. Another 1993 game, this time on the Super Nintendo, Rocky Rodent. Rocky Rodent is an enigma to me. All I can do is show you a promo ad here. Here's an ad. I was paging through an archive of the of EGM actually, and here a little quarter page ad down here. It says we've got an ad that says hazardous hairballs 60 miles per hour. It's a sign that's like bending, and the ad says get ready to rocky and roll this hair-raising action in fast forward. Get Rocky Rodent today at your local video game store, and don't forget your hairspray. And then we've got a
wow.
Here's their full page ad. Go hair wire with your SNES.
So the hair is a big part of it.
The hair is a thing. It's a big selling point for this character.
What would you say he is?
Yeah, he's a rodent. And I'm going to show you the back of the box here. So this is the back cover of the SNES box. I'm reading it as is here. This is the copy on the back of the box. It says, caution, merging, maniac. There's a hot rodent on the road. Rocky. He's quicker than a greased hairball.
What?
Wound tighter than a hairpin turn. He's got hair with an attitude. And the fastest can of hairspray in the West. He's trouble in the fast lane. Tricks in a can. Cars, trucks, and uncool dudes pull over or end up looking like a hairpiece with a bad case of the rats. Rocky Rodent, he's good road from Iram.
You know,
what?
Right after they finished pitching it, that person passed out.
Yeah,
like
no,
it was
probably
said
having a stroke.
in a fever. There's a hot road on the road. Rocky's quicker than a grease hairball. Wound tighter than a hairpin turn. He's got hair with attitude. He's fastest. He's gonna. And they were like, we love it.
yeah, just roll it. It was his dying wish. So
they're like, did he just die? Did he just die? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, well, I think we kind of have to.
to do it.
Oh, he does have shorts. You can see him in this one ad. I was concerned it was just the jersey. He does have shorts. You can barely see him there. It's clearly a Wish.com Sonic. You know, he's got the red sneakers.
It's Make-A-Wish Sonic.
Oh man, that makes what I said so much darker.
I wasn't saying Make-A-Wish. Wish.com.
You're saying
the
that
website.
I know.
The back on the box was the kid dying.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no.
That's what Chris.
That's not what I said.
I said that they clearly passed out at the end of it, and then you said, "Yeah, it's clearly a Make-A-Wish."
I didn't say Make-A-Wish. I said Wish.com, the website that sells.
Man, just think about like some poor 8-year-old terminally ill was just like came in there, pitched this thing, and then died, and they were like, "Well, we got to do it."
We're not 100% sure that didn't happen.
I'm just shocked that GGN's at that level where Chris is making jokes like that.
He's good road from. I've looked at that last line a lot. He's good road from Iram. Iram's the name of the developer, but is it a pun? He's good road from Iram.
I think we all have to face facts that it's a Make-A-Wish situation.
Yeah, Chris.
Or a stroke and last wish situation.
Okay.
I think that's exactly what it was. And Chris, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with you making fun of the paragraph anymore.
Uh-huh.
I'm fine with it, but I just think we need to come to a consensus.
Okay.
If you read that, I dare you to read that paragraph again and tell me that was a sane, sober, moral, prudent person who wrote that.
Yeah, it may cross the line for me to say it out loud. You know, like that is that's not being respectful myself. I got you, loud and clear.
Would it be too crude to suggest that that's why his hair falls out when he gets hurt?
We're gonna watch this game from Frank.
Because that was too far.
Just trim off another 20 points, make it a level playing field for Tom and Vic there, both at 70. I don't even want those points. I'm just gonna remove them.
Hold it right there. I won't let you go this time. Oh, the owner of the Rose Restaurant. You showed up at the right time. Catch that guy for me.
Look who we've got here. It's Rocky Rodent. Are you trying to cheat another restaurant?
What? He's known all around town.
I don't know.
What's wrong, sir? You look worried. Has something happened?
Yes, it's Don Garcia. He's a member of the Mafia, and he has kidnapped my only daughter,
What's going on?
Melody.
Let me guess.
Please do.
You didn't make your payment, did you?
What payment? This is Rocky Rodent.
Didn't you receive a bill from them? They are trying to control the whole town.
I've got a good idea.
Meanwhile, Rocky Rodent is just between the two, looking back and forth.
It's just an animal.
Hey, Rocky, listen, I have an offer. For you. If you save my daughter, I'll invite you to my restaurant for all you can eat. And it's on the house.
Can only fit 3 words a page. Sounds like a good deal. I'll take it.
Sir, are you serious? Rocky's stomach is worse than a garbage disposal. He'll bankrupt your restaurant.
They couldn't just put on, they couldn't work on the spacing.
That was the scene?
That was the
Oh.
scene.
What?
All
In the world.
Frank has control of Rocky Rodent, who is a disgusting creature.
Well, I thought I did, but
He's
now
a
it's not.
meth
The
head.
likes of which we have never seen. This is your guide throughout the game. He's going to give you pointers. You never see those other fellas again. So yeah, he's going to teach you the ways of Hairspray. Not the musical based in Baltimore, but of using hairspray on your head.
The magic of your hairdo could save your life.
The broken up boxes. So this is your oracle telling you the ways of Hairspray. All right. All right, so you've sprayed your hair and your character disappeared for a second, but now you have like a blade on your hair.
He looks like a rhinoceros.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, you can slash with your hair. Now, the biggest thing that took me a long time to figure out, we'll give Frank a minute to see if he can figure out what to do with it. All right, the mechanic of this blade hair is that when you see ceiling tiles that look a little different, you can jump into them and you sort of hook into it with your hair.
What?
Like a grappling hook and spin around.
What?
So he's going up floors by hooking underneath certain tiles and flipping his body around to go to the next floor.
That's honestly kind of cool, though.
It's an interesting mechanic compared to at least Awesome Possum. Like the I mean, this is NES usually has a more colorful, little more polished look in my opinion, compared to the Genesis. But it, I don't know, graphically, what do you guys think?
It's okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it is
It's
nuts.
insane looking.
Sure.
The speed of the
the
other game was faster. This is a lot slower of a game, even though he's insane.
Yeah, this is. It's a more ponderous. It's a thinking man's game for sure.
Yeah. Even though
Oh my
you're
gosh,
a
that was
crackhead.
amazing. Can you do that again?
Yeah, if you grab like the hook tile overhead and go the wrong direction, not to an open area, you just
A lot of
Dillo
dillos.
They look like
lot of dillos
they look like
wandering around.
little, like kind of like.
they look like
Like
cops.
I thought they looked kind of like older
armadillos.
ladies.
Yeah, you know you wanted to do
Yeah,
it.
that's great. The fact that his character, he just looks so insane. It's like disturbing.
He's on
I don't
drugs.
think he's too much different than like a Tasmanian devil kind of character or the little Taz, whatever his name was, that was really popular. Who was
It's
little
the
Taz?
eyes,
Dizzy?
though.
Dizzy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the eyes are bug eyes.
If you don't have hair,
But they're like
it's
red
bad.
and yellow.
Oh, and you got
like a-
knocked out by falling signage. The music, I think it works pretty well, especially the intro. I don't know if we got to hear it, but like you hear it, and you're like, all right, yeah, no, this is all right. We got a soundtrack. It's normal like beating up the town kind of music for an SNES game right now. But everything else about their choices, I feel like, is the worst possible choice. We were talking about the tongue sticking out, the bug eyes. The outfit is, I don't know how they decided on like a
pants.
mustard yellow jersey and pants you can't see. No
Who
pants,
bared
yeah.
Just little short shorts.
That's how we do
Wear
it on the
these.
streets.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if your hair is big enough, people won't see that your penis is hanging out.
They're too focused on the hair and the tongue and the crazy eyes. Trust me.
My genital's been out this entire conversation. You didn't even know.
You didn't know, did you?
He's picking up food as he goes. So it's a platformer. It's a hop and bopper, is I think a term we used when we were talking about Michael Jordan and Chaos in the Windy City. You're just bopping around the enemies, jumping on their heads, getting different power-ups sometimes. So far, we've only seen the one power-up. There's different things that can happen with your hair.
He
you
threw the ball.
Hit breakable bricks. You can stab an armadillo onto the tip of your hair and then throw it at another armadillo.
That was cool.
And it's a grappling hook as well. Yeah, again, your mission is to chase down this mafia guy who's made a point to say, my only daughter. That you're trying to save. Melody. My only daughter. Oh, and you ran by a sign at the end that spun around. Again, very unique game design. Help! Someone help!
Why'd you say it like that?
This is
Chris?
Melody.
Victor, you take that one. I'll take the old guy.
Shut up, girl. Don't blame us.
What?
It's a little mouse person.
It's all your father's fault.
Sorry, lady. This is just our duty.
You hurry up and get in the car.
It's a van. It's a VW minibus.
Hold it right there. Let the girl go.
Who are you?
I'm the world famous Dine and Dasher,
What?
Okay.
Rocky Rodent. If I take her back to her dad, I will be rewarded with free food.
No way. Please, let me go. No, that's
That's the girl.
Sorry, my
I was
bad,
confused
my
with the text box.
my bad. If you want this girl back, catch up with our car before sunset. So long. Weird that he gave that option.
We're running out of gas.
Yeah, the car is going to disappear into a mist at sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're looking at the scene that we saw in kind of the loading or the waiting screen background. But you're running along a highway, got some parallaxing background in the back, jumping over cars as they go. I like this sequence. This is a fun thing that a lot of games did in this era. And also, nice little touch, the sun is setting in the background as the level goes on. I don't know, it's all right. It's nice.
Because of what the
Yeah,
bad
it
guy
is.
said.
Look at that.
Yeah. There's like beams in front and behind
And
the
you
level
could
that
jump
are
on the
parallaxing
barrels.
at different speeds. Yeah, you jump on the barrels and bounce too. The developer is Irem or Irem Software Engineering. They started up in '74. Based out of Tokyo, they made arcade cabinets and had a few big hits, including Moon Patrol, Kung Fu Master, which is considered the first beat-em-up arcade game, and R-Type, which you've probably heard of or seen. It's a horizontal spaceship shooter game that has some vaguely H.R. Geiger-looking themes to it. But they developed quite a few games for console for several years.
He was going to heaven.
Rocky Rodent
Okay,
died.
can we
that was
address the
great.
fact that this is absolutely Make-A-Wish?
Rocky Rodent died, and the screen
He
dimmed.
goes to
There was a
heaven
spotlight from
afterwards.
heaven.
They made
and
the point.
I think that the comedic bit was on point. That was good. I liked it. his body, his soul ascends to the heavens because that's where Rocky Rodent goes. He's not going downstairs. He's going straight upstairs.
Don't worry. Even though you look like a demon, you're going to be with the Lord.
Oh my God, you just murdered that man
Good
in the back of
job,
the car
Frank.
with your hair. They developed quite a few games for consoles over several years and had some restructuring, essentially shuttering in 1997, but not before delivering, I forgot the name of the game, Rocky Rodent in 1993. So the plot, as we've kind of seen, is you find some thugs taking Melody. The level after this, which we saw a screen of, you go back to her apartment for clues.
Oh, for clues, huh?
For some reason, it's really dangerous at her apartments. There's ghosts, and we talked about looking like Ghostbusters. But then you get on a sidetrack kind of mission where you're trying to find a monster egg because it sounds delicious and you want to eat it. It turns out it's just a bird, and the bird hatches, and it's with you for the rest of the game. It doesn't really seem to do anything. And then you get to the end, which we'll take a peek at. Oh, jeez!
Fuck. Oh well. Well, all right.
Can't go backwards when you're on the road. Oh,
Oh, dude, what the
God!
fuck
There's
is
an
that?
oil truck shooting flames.
Dang, you got ran over by
Game
15 cars.
There's a parade of cars. Don't worry, Rocky Rodent. There's an all-you-can-eat buffet in heaven. All right. Yeah, this is one of the final fight sequences. There are multiple mini bosses in this game for you to fight. He's fighting what looks like a pig with a jetpack, I believe. Anyway, so you end up saving Melody very anticlimactically, and hold on. So, yep, you just do a boss fight, and there's Garcia, the mob boss. Don't fight him. You just you sort of say, "Hey, release Melody," and he said, "What if I say no? I'll eat you up."
Oh, I give up this time. The power of your hair is very impressive. How about being my right-hand man? The two of us could rule this city together. No way, Garcia. Don't try to fool me. Such a smart guy. Well, I've got to go now. Hope to see you again soon.
And yeah, that's the end of the game. There is one more sequence here where you take her back to her dad. You've got the bird there.
Banking on a sequel.
Yeah, they definitely left the plot open for a sequel.
That damn Garcia
didn't kill Garcia. And yeah, Rocky Rodent's like, "Don't forget, I'm back and saved her." And he's like, "You've done a great job. You can eat your all-you-can-eat buffet." And then it's implied that Melody has fallen in love with Rocky, you, a rodent, and she plants a kiss on your hair. So, yeah, from this gameplay video, again, it looks like there's about an hour of footage. Pretty standard for action-adventure game. They packed it from some of the reviews, what I heard, a little bit too much with some extra levels. But, yeah, so the reviews for this game from Moby Games, an aggregate of 9 reviews. What do you guys think Rocky Rodent got?
37.
37 from Vic. Frank, what do you think?
I'm going to say 58.
58. And Tom?
I'm going to say 66.
66. That's lower overall than what you guys gave Awesome Possum, I believe, right? The aggregate is a 74, putting Tom closest.
Now I can use more points to say things.
2 points for Tom.
They're awful.
Because I don't trust him with points anymore. This review from Power Unlimited, translated from Dutch.
Rocky Rodent is a platformer with a bite. You defeat enemies with your hair. And since you can find different hairstyles, you can't stop having fun.
It's not allowed. You can't do it.
A disappointment is that the game can be played too quickly. 8 out of 10. That is a person who takes way too much cocaine.
I would point you to what's on screen right now. I'm sharing one of the other hairstyles. There was like a braid you had that acted more like a whip, and that was fun. You could hook onto things and sling around. But this one, it's a boomerang, but you can throw it into the wall and create a platform with it and then jump on it. And that's
I feel like they should have just made him a barber.
Yeah, they I don't
like,
get the rodent
why
angle.
does this rodent have
to do with
all his hair
hairstyles?
stuff? Yeah.
He just got the flower, and that gives him the braid.
You got Mario the plumber. Why not have, Rhodey the barber?
Workshop it maybe, but
Well, also, when the hairspray goes on his head, it just goes around him in a circle.
Yeah.
It's not like he's applying it. It's like magic hairspray that gives him the hairdo.
I'm willing to let that
it's
one go.
It's almost like he's a cosmetic testing animal.
Oh, okay.
You know?
All right. Yeah, there could be an environmental angle there, too. All right.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, but there could have.
Does Melody do anything?
Melody?
Isn't Melody the name of the bird?
No, Melody was the name of the kidnapped victim. She was kidnapped.
Oh,
Keep
what's
her
the
name out
bird's
of your
name?
mouth. The bird was, you thought it was an egg that you were going to eat, and then it hatched. It doesn't appear that it does anything.
From Total.
Translated from German.
Okay, the graphics are also pretty entertaining. Scenery and opponents all deserve the title original. It's just a pity. The scrolling sometimes jerks pathetically, and there isn't a trace of passwords to be seen.
That's Swedish. Keep going.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know. You gave me a few words. For the eavesdroppers, there's a very tolerable music and some extremely funny sound effects. Jump and Run fans should definitely check out the module 2 out of 6.
2 out of 6. Another grading scale.
What a bizarre.
And Frank, one
that
more.
That one's stupid.
Want to make your way through that one quickly.
Nintendo Magazine UK, but I'm going to pretend an American was working there in the UK.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Endearing as the character may be, Rocky Rodent won't be finding his way into my Super NES again. Whilst Irem have added some neat touches to Rocky's very basic platform antics. Dodgy sprite detection and overlong levels hardly inspire the player through to the kidnapped girl. Admittedly, Rocky is a very polished game, and the assorted hairstyles are a novel slant on the power-up theme, but these features are no substitute for a lack of playability. Basically, playing Rocky Rodent is like buying a sandwich and finding out only the front bit has got any filling. Most annoying, 73 out of 100.
Yeah, I like that he started it with endearing as the character may be, which I did not read the first time and cannot identify with in any way. All right, we are on to our final game of the evening. The year is still 1993. We're looking at issue 50 of EGM. Where are we at? We're going to jump over here to page 44. Page 43's got an ad for Cool Spot, a game that's sponsored by 7-Up. That's not what we're interested in. Let's see, over here we've got... Yeah, I played that game too.
I had that game.
We've got EGM's top 10 for the month, and Nintendo looks like we've got Kirby's Adventure on the NES. We've got WWF Royal Rumble on the Super NES. Mutant League Football on the Genesis with their badass games over there. Got an ad for Double Bubble Trouble, or it's actually Bubble Bobble Part 2. Let's see, paging over here, you can vote for EGM's next top game list. There's an ad for Shinobi 3. Then over here on the right side of a page, we got a full page ad that says, when confronted with danger, possums will often play dead. And then we go over to the next page and we have a full page spread for a game that says this one goes ballistic. And it is an ad for Rocket Knight Adventures.
I've played this game.
You played Rocket Knight Adventures? I did too. And I forgot this game existed because not a lot has happened with this franchise. But yes, this is the character Sparkster. And we're going to play Rocket Knight Adventures. Tom, you have this game. If you open up the other file, the one...
You double tricked me?
I can't believe you fell for it again. Yeah, the other file. Rocket Knight Adventure, I found an article from Hardcore Gaming 101 that, as they said, it was Konami's entry into the overcrowded extreme rodent category. Rocket Knight Adventures features Sparkster, an opossum who is wearing armor and a jetpack with a sword and a 90s smirk on his face. This is the cover of the box for the Genesis Rocket Knight Adventures.
Oh man, this is crazy. I played this when I was a kid.
Nostalgia flood for this one for sure.
Oh my goodness.
The music. I love the music for this one. Nice. There, turn that off. Turn that off. There we go.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's our hero Sparkster standing on top of a spire, a giant ghost pig in the sky. That was our main name.
Hell yeah.
And stage 1. So
this is a hero who knew he had more than a few months to live.
This is a guy who doesn't have stage 3 colon cancer.
Oh my god. All right, so Tom is getting used to the controls here. Here's Sparkster, and it noticeably has a different level of polish from the other games that we were playing. The animations stand out a little bit more. This is a Konami product right here. But his attacks, he's got a blade that he sort of throws out a few lengths in front of him. And he can jump, and you can hang from the trees. The animation is adorable, hanging
so
upside down from the trees. You've got some big steampunk goggles as well. It's really for your rocketeering. Tom has not remembered the main mechanic of this game yet, and he'll die for it, and I'll let him. I'll have to help him, I think. You got a lot of health bars in the top. This game is generous with its settings. You can adjust to easy mode and get more health bars. All right, so Tom died once, so I'll help him out. If you hold down your attack button, you charge it up all the way. If you're not moving, you go into a spin move. If you are moving, you do your rocket blast, which sends you jetting across the screen in a very sonic, I think it was the burst system. It was a thing that Sega Genesis had built in that NES and other systems had a hard time emulating how fast the movement was. So yeah, a lot of this game is keeping your jetpack charged and ready to ram into something. You'll get the hang of it, Tom. I believe in you.
Ow.
And there's one more of those big trucks you have to fight. We haven't talked about what's going on yet, really. You're in a I don't know how to describe this landscape. It's hilly. It's filled with pigs. There are pigs everywhere that you attack once and all of their clothing falls off and they are in their skivvies and they run away. And you can hit them one more time if you want and then they die. But also you just need to hit them once to knock their armor off to scare them. I don't have a lot to say about the ideation of this game. No good info on where or why it exists. We can only assume that it was to get in on that extreme rodent need. The children crave cool rodents, and they need role models. We want to make them road-killable animals look cool, so... Konami was pumping out tons of polished games in this era. Turtles in Time, Hyperstone Heist, a year prior. They're doing Tiny Toons and Animaniac games, Batman and Robin. Konami was making good games, and seems like they just wanted to make a rival to what was making Sonic gameplay popular, and this was them taking a swing at that gameplay. As we said, like the main mechanic does revolve around him kind of charging up a boost and then ramming into stuff or repositioning with that. You know what? We kind of rushed into this. Maybe you'd be doing better, Tom, if you knew some backstory, because this is made by Konami, and they don't half-ass anything, including the plot. They have some lore here about the Rocket Knight world. So let me divulge into this for a second.
That'll help.
The first king of Zephyrius, El Zephyrius, had led his clan to defeating an evil empire who constructed a starship known as Pigstar, which had the power to destroy planets. Knowing Pigstar would be sought by the evil, the king magically sealed the starship and protected the key to the seal by having it guarded and passed by his royal family over generations, and forming an elite group of warriors known as Rocket Knights to protect the kingdom. Around this time, an orphan named Sparkster was taken in by Mifune Senjulo, a friend of the king and leader of the Rocket Knights. Sparkster was trained to become a Rocket Knight at an early age. Sparkster would become the new leader of the Rocket Knights after banishing Axel Gear from Zephyrius, a corrupt Black Knight for destroying Mifune. Axel Knight's a bad guy who killed his sensei, and now he's the leader of the Rocket Knights. So that's the backstory. That's what you need to know. But in the events of the game, the kingdom of Zephyrius has come under attack by the Devotindos kingdom, led by evil Devilgus, who has come in search to the key to the seal. There's bad guys looking for the key to the seal for a starship that can destroy planets. Why didn't they destroy the starship? I don't know. They sealed it up, and there's a key to open it. So right now, Sparkster is headed to the Zephyrius castle to find something. I believe in Tom. Tom can get there. Do you remember owning this game for the Genesis, Tom?
Yeah, Genesis is the only thing I had.
Oh, okay. That's so cool of you, Tom.
Is that cool?
It was the cool kid system, yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know.
never had a
Do what
Genesis.
Nintendo don't. That was their whole motto. Are you gonna get attacked by 4 at once? Oh, took him out with your health. That was a bold move.
Ow.
You made it? Okay. Charge that thing up, Tom. There you go. We are falling through the waterfall now. Cool effects going on here.
Oh no.
Nice. His enemies bouncing around. It feels like a Sonic kind of thing. Now he's rammed into enough that he's destroyed. All right. And Tom has made it to the next part, and we are on a jetpack level.
Whoa!
Which is fucking cool.
And I can go underwater?
He is flying. Yeah, he is flying horizontally across the map now with his jetpack. There's some guys sort of drifting towards him, but he's chucking out his blades. You can skim along the water, and some surface
This game is
effects come up.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, Tom's about to die here. This is a tough fight.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not.
I believe in you, Tom.
I'm not lying to you. You're gonna die. It's a tough fight.
Come on, Tom.
He's taking a bold strategy
This
here.
is your moment.
Wow, he's being aggressive. Going pretty well for Tom. He only has one hit. He has half a health bar though, or half a heart.
He's got a whole heart, Chris.
Clear eyes, full hearts, something like that.
That's right. Can't lose.
Just half a heart. Just half a heart. He hasn't taken a hit. He's fighting a water dragon right now. He's not getting a lot of hits in, but oh boy. Oh, play cool. Oh my God!
You got it,
did
Tom.
You son
Yes.
of a
Fuck
bitch.
you, Chris.
Never doubted you. Never doubted you for a second, Tom.
Wow, no hits on the water dragon fight.
Give me my points.
Chris,
Yeah.
I think we
Give me my
all
points, you
deserve points. I'm
Gonna
just
pop
saying.
200 points on the board there for you. Wow.
Chris was talking some smack.
I mean, Frank and I were encouraging.
I'm
We
gonna give
believed in you.
Frank 2 of my points, and I'm gonna give
'Cause-
you 1 of my points, Victor. Wow.
That seems
I deserve
spiteful,
0.
but all right.
It made sense to me.
That's-
Yeah, you're in
You're in
the burning castle now.
And
This is
all
the
the
kingdom
pigs'
of Zephyr.
butts are on fire.
Yeah, there's no pigs fighting you. Just their butts are on fire, and I guess
What?
you're helping them. You're knocking their clothes off. Yeah, you've reached an impasse where you need to go up in the sky, and there you go. You kind of bounce off the walls with your jetpack.
Oh, no!
This is tough.
Ow!
It telegraphs where it's going to shoot a laser beam at you, and you got to do your best to get out of the way, but it is tough.
Tom eats tough for breakfast.
Well, he's down to half a health bar again, but that's where he thrives.
It's true. We've seen it.
Go, go, go. Oh my God.
That's right. That's right. That is
Unbelievable.
right.
Wait to say now, Chris.
I got no
right.
words. Tom has played this game before.
It's all coming back to it.
Yeah.
You're right. Every time, baby. Half a health. That's all I need. Half a heart. And I got this.
Treacherous territory now. The pigs are running at him with their butts on fire. Tom is barely hanging on with his half health still. This is a game with, I don't know if it has any like readable text on screen. So this is never going to satisfy any like world building lore that you may have, but you know, it's Konami, so I'm sure it's all in the booklets. This game was directed by Nobuya Nakazato. He's a noted designer of multiple Contra games. He also worked on a few Castlevania and Contra games art, as well as directing them. He's a longtime employee of Konami. They had planned an SNES port for this game, but it never happened for some reason. Speaking of mascots, though, that's the whole theme of this episode, Sparkster did make his way to several Konami advertisements, appearing like as Konami's mascot, as you would expect, like Sega would advertise with Sonic. So he was absolutely the face of Konami for a while. Now, he is fighting a giant centipede. Where's he going to come from next? There are 3 holes in the ceiling and 1 on the left and right wall. And he is dodging the centipede as he jumps in. And now the centipede is dropping little creepy crawly spiders that will hurt you. Hit that thing and you're good to go, Tom. Or maybe just land on it. Touch it with your head, your feet. I think you just bump into the red one and it blows them all up.
No.
I lied. Hit it. You have to hit it. I'm trying to get you down to that 1 health bar where you live.
Yeah.
There you go. You hit it and it broke. All right, so back to a fight with the centipede. You're going to have to avoid the tail entirely. There's only 1 safe spot when the tail is out. All right, so it's a game of, you know, it's a box of a few. It's a grid, and you have to hide in a safe grid while doing damage to the enemy. That sort of game trope. You can charge up that jetpack. It's a great way to do damage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's down to his 1/2 heart. Can Tom do it? Snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yes, he can.
Oh my God.
That's
Unstoppable.
right.
Tom does it again. I am blown away.
Half
I'll
a
round
heart,
you up to
Tom.
300. All right, Tom's sitting at 300 right now to Vic's 71 and Frank's 8.
You know what it is? At
close
half a
match.
heart, I feel like
Close.
I'm channeling the Make-A-Wish kids, you know?
Take away points, but give them right back, Chris.
All right, so we have got a little plot here. Here is Axel. He has kidnapped the princess and jumped off into a spaceship that flies away. Yeah, I'll tell you what else happens in the event of this game. We have already reached our water level. It's a giant monster. This is one of those things that's just engraved in my brain.
Why can't I?
You're supposed to use your
Oh, there
jetpack
we
to
go.
get up to him. Yeah. But he's got little spiky hands that twirl around, a big clown nose, and there's a pig controlling this robot. And you got to jump up there and smack him in the face. Everything about it, I love it. The hit animations when you hit the pigs, you get the shocked face. It's a fun kind of twirling around this robot is doing with his arms. All right, he's blown up the robot, little mini boss there. Only down to 2 hearts for Tom. Not at his peak, it's not peak performance for Tom.
It's building up to it.
But as we play, so we find Axel geared kidnapping Princess Sherry, who is the one who knows the location of the key. But before Sparkster is able to catch Axel, he escapes in a giant airship and blows Sparkster away to a nearby desert, pursuing a chase across some different levels. Oh, this place that you're in right now is kind of an interesting mechanic. There's like a waterfall that you've entered into. It introduces a mechanic of like different depths for the waterfall. You can see there's something behind the waterfall. Now there's some platforms that are going in and out of the waterfall, and you're gonna stand on that
the wrong guy for
until
this.
you go behind. Now you are behind the waterfall.
Oh, now I get
But
it.
Tom got confused by it and got himself hurt.
I did get confused.
Just
Wait.
wait until it changes. There
Oh,
you go.
I see. Now I'm behind.
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh my god. All right, Tom is behind in the safe-ish area. There's less spiky things back there. And they have created 2 depths to the 2D level, which it's clever.
Too clever for me.
All right, there's a platform there that automatically brings you to the front. There you go. Now, I think
Ow.
you're ready for it, a boss fight that
Oh,
takes
no.
place in the 3rd dimension? I guess
am,
we'll call it a
I
3rd
am not
dimension.
ready for that.
You can stay in just one, except you keep falling down to the bottom. Oh, Sparkster has been knocked out. Sparkster eventually reaches the kingdom of Deventitos and reaches the Deventitos castle to confront Devilgus. Sparkster frees Sherry. However, Devilgus, having obtained the key, escapes into space to reach the Pigstar. Sherry casts a spell on Sparkster's rocket pack that allows him to chase Devilgus. After a fight with Devilgus in the Pigstar, it's revealed that Devilgus is a robot. The coolest plot twist. Sparkster manages to defeat him either way. Either way, that's a weird way to say that, Wikipedia. After a melee fight with Axel Gear, Sparkster eventually confronts Devilgus in his true form, and you defeat Devilgus, causing the Pigstar to explode. And Sparkster escapes in a nearby escape pod. However, Devilgus attempts a last-ditch effort to kill Sparkster in the escape pod. Devilgus burns apart while entering Elhorn's atmosphere, which I'm just now learning is the name of the planet that they live on. And you get back safely and reunite Princess Sherry with King Zebulus and fly off elsewhere. That's what you do. You fly off elsewhere
Nice.
for the sequel.
No.
There we go. He's beating the clown face bubble tail
I
boss.
don't want to go that way.
All right, another level where you're I don't know why I love this part. It's an underwater level, but naturally you should float, so you have to swim down, but you can hook your tail onto bars, and that's how you kind of stay in place. But the hanging mechanic is reversed. I like it. I like this game, in case you can't tell.
No, it's fun.
All right, there is a cool little platforming puzzle here. We know how Tom loves platforming puzzles. It's like a moving wall. It's doing waves of spikies that you have to avoid. I didn't use his jetpack at all. It made it less cool, to be honest. But and this is where Tom will die, because it's one of those platforming puzzles. It's like there's no way you could know that. Yep. You're on a it's a mine cart kind of level, and you got a dock. It does show you arrows. To be fair, it's like arrows up. All right, he made it past the first section. Now I think there's gonna be a little fight sequence.
Ow!
You can move the mine cart now. You couldn't do that before, but you're trying to avoid them throwing bombs at you.
Ah!
Not the way Tom's doing it though. Actually avoiding them. All right, he's figured this part out. I was saying it's the kind of platforming thing that you have to play through a couple times, because there's no way to know what's coming. Sure, there's a...
Oh my god, they keep getting me right before it's charged.
Wow. Half a heart Tom I know wouldn't make excuses.
You can do this, Tom.
Might need to lower your
Nice.
Duck. You're gonna go to your right?
No!
Oh, we did an angled instead of a right. All right, you can keep playing if you want to. I'm going to jump into the reviews, though, so we don't stay here all night. Okay, reviews. From Moby Games, we've got an aggregate again. It is, we'll go down the list. Frank, what do you think this game got?
Yeah, I think this one, you know what? I'm going to give it a 94, I think.
94 from Frank. Tom, what you got?
I was thinking 85.
85 from Tom and Victor.
Well, then I'll go 90.
90. It is against all morality and karma. Tom cleaning up this evening. Put a few points on the board for you. It was a 84% average from 31 critics. This was a popular release, being from Konami, so lots of people, reviewed it and such. Here's a couple reviews.
Hey, Chris, give yourself 20 points.
Dealer keeps a couple points there. Tom, go ahead and read that review when you get a chance.
Take a little Sonic, add a dash of fantasy, and season it with Konami creativity. Ready? This is a recipe for a very tasty dish.
There's no need for that, Tom.
Rocky Night Adventures. A beautiful and difficult game full of challenges and novelties. Serious contender for best action game of the year.
Wowee. That's a 4 out of 4. Yet another rating scale, I believe, from Portuguese site Akio Games. This next one...
Those low number ones are stupid.
4. That's enough numbers to judge a game.
If you can't get it 4, it doesn't deserve to be.
Victor, you got one there.
Okay, from a French site reviewer, Joypad. As for the game itself, nothing to complain about. This is awful. Not only is it superb in terms of colors and gradations, not only are the special effects legion, but in addition, the pleasure of the game is total. Okay,
Again,
so
French translation.
Yeah, translation. Got it. On the one hand, the graphics and animations are excellent. On the other, the 30 levels are almost all different and completely innovative in the genre.
That's how you use that phrase. On the one hand, good. On the other hand, good.
Good. This clearly means that, given the high challenge, you will spend many days before overcoming the game, which is reassuring for an action game. And in addition, there is even a certain notion of space opera with these knights in armor who fight in space. Bravo, Konami. Again, 96 out of 100.
There you go. And Game Masters says, of all the recent cuddly heroes, Sparkster is the only one I'd like to see more of. Not in a removal of his little clothes way, but in a sequel. Again,
What?
What?
Not that I want to
Did he
fuck
really
the
say
Possum, but you know.
Oh, I want to draw attention to the video we're watching
Is that
right
really
now.
in the review?
That is what it says. But real quick, the lava level that we're looking at right now, I think is one of the most creative platforming things I've seen on the Genesis. The lava is rising and falling,
And you can see
It's like a mirror.
reflection.
Yeah, there's a mirror going on. You can see yourself in the mirror. You're obscured from the top half, but you can see your reflection. You have to... Yeah, it's just a beautifully done game. It's very
I mean,
well
that's
done.
not how lava works, but you know what? For this,
Not at all.
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like a crystal planet, I think. It's probably not
okay.
lava, but red water.
Red water.
It's just red water. All right, anyway, back to the pervert.
Wow. Frank, you don't know shit about the
Not in a removal of his little clothes way, but in a sequel, or possibly a series of further adventures. This is right up there with
I'm
SNES.
so uncomfortable with that comment.
Yeah,
It gets a
that's
little
messed
worse. This is right up there.
That guy's
with,
on a list, right? We've got that guy on a list somewhere.
Yeah, for
should.
sure.
Now he's a furry for sure, right? He's one of those.
Yeah. Well, maybe a criminal. You know, not all furries are criminals, but
Why not both? Yeah.
there's some that are. You know, there's an overlap though.
Yeah. With any population, there's an overlap. With this guy, for sure.
this
It gets a
guy,
little
yeah.
worse. This is right up there with SNES Tiny Toons Adventures for thrills and laughs. Yeah. Sparkster right now is fighting the
Can we
crab.
read his review on Tiny Toons Adventures?
I
Yeah,
don't
because
want
then we're
to,
going to
Tom.
know.
What
Yeah,
kind of crazy
I
things
don't
does he
want
say
to.
there?
He's
Yeah.
fighting Crab Rangoon character right now, which is again a pig.
That's a
There's the
great
enemies in a giant crab suit. He's got kind of like tentacle arms
I
with
could use a
crab
Crab Rangoon right
claws
now.
on the end. Again, like each claw is like acting kind of independently. It's top-notch Konami stuff going on here. It's a good boss
It's a very cool game.
Yeah. This was successful enough to merit a sequel called Sparkster Rocket Adventures 2 a year later, which received pretty decent reviews again. Some claiming it was a slight improvement, some people complaining it didn't do enough different from the first game. There was a spin-off game, completely standalone entry called just Sparkster that was released on the SNES. It wasn't a remake of this game or the other one. It got kind of middling reviews on the SNES and was criticized for not doing anything better than the original did again. Even so, IGN put it at the 87th best SNES game of all time, and it won an award from EGM as having the best sound effects. And I think we heard the sound effects were pretty good in there as well.
He's on an AT-SD walker or something.
Yeah, through the lava. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, this level is it's a side scroller.
Now
platformer.
that's lava.
It's
Frank.
Thank you, Frank. it's a forced side scroller kind of level, but yeah, you kind of have to follow this AT-AT walker through the lava. God, I remember this fight too. I was wondering about this game. I was like, was this one that I like never got that far in? So Sparkster SNES. I wanted to show some. So you'll notice the colors look a little bit different. The animation on Sparkster looks different. He's got bigger, floppier ears and hair. Looks a little. He's reminding me of some character that I can't place right now, but he's. I don't know. He's.
Oh, Ratchet and Clank. He looks like.
Yeah, he looks like Jack.
Does.
No, not Ratchet. Jack from Jack and Daxter.
Oh, Jack and Daxter.
Oh.
Jack.
Same thing. They're platforming guys that.
Yeah,
Same company.
basically
I'm
the
pretty sure.
same games, just a...
Yeah, different theme. But yeah, so different animations.
I like the original one better than this.
Yeah, SNES is a little smoother overall.
Well, I mean, like the style too. Like he was cuter there. Here they tried to make him look like cooler.
A little more badass, yeah. Yeah, this is one of those games that, like I said, I grew up with it. I'm pretty sure I owned this cartridge, and I just assumed that like everyone had the same kind of experience as me, but that wasn't the case. Sometimes you just had access to certain games, and I thought like, you got your Marios, you got your Sonics, and Sparkster, like he's right there with them, So that's always been my opinion of this character, but I completely forgot about him. I'm going to toss in here real quick. We're not doing this game, but in looking for other rodent characters, there's a few that we're not going to do. There's one called Arrow the Acrobat.
That was in one of the ads from earlier.
Yeah, I jumped right over it, because I didn't want to talk about this character. The gameplay is awful. I don't have anything to say about it. It's terrible. I don't know how it got as good reviews as it did. It's got like 70s and 60s. And it was followed up by a sequel called Arrow the Acrobat 2. That got better reviews. Has some cool like diving mechanics and flying apparently. And it also spun off a game called Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel, who was a character from the original game. Oh no. I didn't see this before. He has you see what he's got on his headband there?
He's a kamikaze.
Rising
so it
sun.
makes sense.
Oh,
yeah. I thought it was just
bonsai,
a fun
baby.
Anyway,
that's
some more
cool.
rodents that one actually had the best reviews, I think. That was 71% overall. So anyway, some more rodents. I had a couple more that I had tagged as well.
Was Genesis an
adjacent.
American or Japanese company?
Sega was
Sega.
Sega was a Japanese company.
Does that make it more or weird or less weird?
Depends
It
who
keeps you on your
developed
toes.
it, I guess. Gets the people excited.
Yeah, makes you think like, could they do it again?
That was developed by Iguana Entertainment, which was a California-based. You remember this logo, Iguana Entertainment? They were a popular brand back in the day.
Wait, Turok.
Yeah. Did they do Turok?
Turok.
I think they did, but maybe I'm a liar. But I think
they did Turok. Yep.
Wow.
Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and they also did NBA Jam '99, the South Park game. They were merged into Acclaim, it looks like. Yeah. Let's talk about our scores finally. We gave these games a score it deserves. We've heard some score systems out of 4, out of 50, out of 10 stars, out of 100. We use a different score system here. We go from negative 100 all the way to 100. No, we don't. I've confused myself. We go from negative 10 to positive 10. 0 is in the garbage valley. No enjoyment there at all. When you get into the negatives, it's becoming enjoyable because it's bad, and a 10 is just a 10. Hey, you guys know what good games are. I don't tell you guys what good games are. Oh my god, I forgot how fucking cool this game was. All these bosses, they're just ingrained in my memory. Yeah, here's another platforming level where you're evading the walls closing in on you, essentially. He's in Axel's in a giant mech, and you've got to, run across the level as fast as you can, up and down to get away from him.
Oh, that's cool. It does seem like they tried to come up with like really unique ideas for each level.
Yeah, and then you get in a pig mech. And you do like a rock'em sock'em robot fight with him.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
Konami made good games.
He's like
man.
you?
Yeah, he's evil you. He's got like a knight helmet instead of the steampunk goggles. And he goes back and forth.
What?
The boxing match. You beat Axel, he gets knocked out. A little sequence here of a giant ship blasting off from oh, it's not that giant, it's just the pig head. Blasting off from the planet. You get rocket boost power, you're in space, you're flying through the asteroids, you're making sure you don't run into them. Doing some space battles. Good grief, that was a big blast. I want to see
You
that.
just hold your breath that whole time?
Well, you're an opossum.
Yeah,
You don't breathe.
as we all know.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking points away from you for that one, Tom. Jeez.
Yeah, no, that was real dumb.
Fair's fair.
Some big space battles. You're fighting a ship. You got to navigate around it. Tricky because you can only throw, your sword to the right. But
I forgot that possums don't breathe. That's so glad you brought that up.
What
I'm
a
so
clown.
stupid.
It's such a common mistake to make.
all right, you're fighting a giant pig boss. I think that's Devil Ghost there. Then you find out he's a robot. Yeah, a robot that can sort of
Oh my.
recombine his body parts.
Sure.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Fighting Axel one more time here. Just a mano-y-mano. No funny business about, robots and giant mech suits.
I'm not laughing.
Just two opossums with their swords.
That's right.
Getting out an escape pod. All right, we'll just let those credits roll. We're going to rate these games just one by one using our Garbage Valley score system. -10, terrible game, but very enjoyable. 0, just absolute waste of your time. +10, it's a perfect game, So let's go one by one. We started with... The hell did we start with? Awesome Possum. Any thoughts you guys have, as well as your score? Frank, haven't heard from you in a while. What you got for Awesome Possum? Probably because he's still playing Rocket Adventures, isn't he? Put Rocket Adventures
I'm playing
down.
Aerobat now.
Oh, you're playing Aerobat.
It is okay.
It's bad, man.
I'll get into that in a second.
Okay, yeah.
But so Awesome Possum, it's not the worst thing ever. I think it's.
I want to see the worst thing ever to Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I
is
feel
it?
like the Lion King for Super Nintendo had worse controls and like the
Interesting.
screen like being tight, and so it's like I feel like it had some potential, but it just the levels are way too big. It takes way too long, and that's actually something with all 3 of these games actually. I feel like all the levels. I feel like with
us
Rocket Knight
complaining
it's a
the
little
games are
smoother
too
of a
hard.
transition,
Yeah.
but I feel like the first 2 the levels go on for way too long.
Yeah, they do.
So, and I think out of all 3 of them, that the tightness of the screen is the worst on Awesome Possum.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the worst game ever. So I'm gonna give it a +4.
+4 for Awesome Possum from Frank. Tom, what do you think about Awesome Possum? When you got to play it.
I
you
think
both
it
got
was.
to play it.
I think it was bad, and I don't like the learning.
I get that. Yeah. Don't appreciate
in the options, you actually could just do all the questions.
But not the other way around.
Not the game.
It's just all the. So if you want to practice for those parts, you can.
Oh, okay.
In the very beginning. I did that first. So it's interesting, Not many games would do that if you just want to do a bunch of quiz questions.
All right.
That's like 2 games in one.
With that said, I'm gonna say a -3.5.
All right. Victor, what do you think? Awesome Possum.
Awesome Possum. Love the
Kicks
name.
Dr. Machino's Butt. I had to get that in there.
Yeah, I love the name. I'm hooked with the name. Really, I'm there for it if there were a few tweaks.
Okay.
Just a few tweaks. All right.
Yeah.
So the first is the voice. I think
Yeah.
he's got to have an Australian voice. It's got to be a little cooler.
Just
Also,
whiny is all it was. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like super whiny. He sounds like a jerk, and it doesn't match with the look, right? He's not awesome.
He's got to look so cool, like that Awesome
gotta
Possum did.
What
Yeah.
else would you tweak?
I would tweak.
Don't do that. Don't be the guy from Game Masters.
Game Master.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't
Games
wanna know.
Masters was the one who wanted. He'd like to see a little more of Sparkster, but not in
Oh.
a closed way.
Gosh, I'd forgotten. All right.
Yeah, no, well, it's back. I reminded you.
It's back, and now I got questions about that guy. So when we get to it, yeah. But I would go more into the lore, especially if I know Tom doesn't like the learning, but I like the learning, and I would want more people to understand that possums again can reproduce by themselves. They don't need a mate, and I think that would have really benefited a lot of kids.
Is it like I could be wrong? They're the ones that sort
It's
of
like
split
gremlins.
off, right? Yeah, like they a piece of it's mitosis, I think it's called, right? Like they split off,
Yeah,
and another one
but it's
grows from that.
It's from the belly, though. It's like
Oh.
it's not anywhere. It's from a belly pouch that's underneath
Okay.
the fur, so you don't really see it until the splitting happens, and the fur covers it most of the time. But yeah,
Oh, I see. Okay.
and the line can continue, but they don't breathe anyway, so you wouldn't notice because it doesn't move up and down. But yeah, anyway, I would have that in there. It'd have more of like his little Mad Max history or something, and then I'd kind of like to see him litter as well. I'd like there to be an alternate option where you can be the one to just chuck
Some
cans
morality
everywhere.
scale. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like an inverse.
You can choose
like,
light
It's
or
a little
dark.
easier if
Yes.
you litter.
Yeah, and then
And the
you're
kids can
fighting
learn from
against
that.
They can learn, and then it's like the robots are trying to kill this possum, and if you walk into that room, you're like, what's happening here? It's like, oh, you don't understand, this son of a bitch is like throwing trash everywhere, and we've got the technology, but he's so elusive, and like I don't know if we can kill him because he doesn't breathe in the first place, and
Right.
he keeps splitting off into more. And anyway, so I think there's a lot of untapped potential. So
What people don't realize is that possums actually developed the need not to breathe because of the environmental impact.
that's right. Thank you. Thank you,
The
Chris.
lowering oxygen levels, as seen in Awesome Possum, made Sparkster what he was.
It's
He
true.
just
If you-
evolved to just not.
Just did not.
To
Well,
just
if you
not.
look, that's why they show like his little health meter. There's no health, and his face is like dead. Because it's like this is what he should be, and yet you're still going. So what does that tell you? They leave like enough breadcrumbs for kids to
Yeah,
figure
the clues
it out.
are there. The kids are
Yeah.
smart. They figure it out.
They do. So the levels
what
are way
was your
too
score?
long. Probably a 6. Well, actually, I take that back. I'm sorry. You can
Okay.
ride on seagulls and
Giant bees.
manatees
Or
and
normal
giant
sized bees, we don't know.
We don't know, and that, you know what? I gotta up the score for that because that's pretty cool. I can only imagine what else you can ride in this game. I'm gonna go with an 8.
An 8?
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Yeah,
All right.
because I don't
He's
understand the
going all in.
points anyway.
That's-
but I'm
that's
gonna
fine.
go with an 8. And the
Perfect.
jets are flying around. I'm sorry, this game is way
There's
cooler than we're giving it credit for.
F-16s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, just minor tweaks is all it needed.
Minor tweaks in a shadow system.
It handles very poorly, which Victor, you couldn't have known.
No.
We didn't let you play tonight.
you
We didn't allow it to happen.
Not very awesome of you.
I'll go -4. It's like it's broken in that it doesn't handle very good. Like the gameplay's not that fun. Funny idea though. More exposure for possums I think is important, but not as much.
Absolutely.
Not as much exposure as that one guy wanted from Game Masters.
Oh, we all knew.
All right, we're gonna move on to Rocky Rodent. What do we think? We're starting with Frank again. Oh, we're seeing the power that he has, where he gets a my
spring
lord,
hair.
Gosh.
spring
He's
hair.
got quite the updo.
And when
Yeah.
he does it, his jersey inverts upside down, showing just as much as the guy from Game Masters wants, but he does have shorts on. Frank, what do you think about Rocky Rodent?
Well, sometimes that thing be thangin', you know what I mean?
I don't want you to expand upon that.
I think you should, Frank.
Okay. So, I love the mohawk hairstyle that
Okay.
you get in the level after I was done playing on this. I kept playing, you know me.
Yeah, I
And
know you.
I unlocked the mohawk, and it was actually really fucking sick.
Oh, the boomerang one.
Yeah, that's like so. I mean, all the hairdos are really cool, but that one was really fun.
Oh, I know.
And it's a game where you can go really fast, but you probably shouldn't. Because the other thing too is when you're using the boomerang hairdo,
Yeah.
if you get hit while your boomerang hairdo is out, it's automatic death.
Oh, you're vulnerable.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need your hair to be on your head to be able to use it as a hit point,
Okay.
So that was interesting to learn multiple times over and over again. My ignorance knows the bounds. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a really fun game. It's interesting with the hairstyles and stuff. There was a weird part when you're looking for the lady in the haunted apartment.
Yeah, her apartment. It's not
yeah,
haunted. It's just her apartment.
They call it ghost apartments.
Oh,
so it's like, oh,
I guess
so
that's a
they
choice
know
she made when she rented it. Okay.
Yeah, like she rented it on purpose. It's like, did your dad not give you
Every
a big
house is
allowance or? Yeah.
He doesn't have the money to pay the mafia, so.
Are there really shorts under there? We don't know.
They're short.
Anyway,
There are, yeah.
Sure. And he's wearing boxer briefs. That sick fuck. I love that he's a dine and dasher. Like that's what he's known for.
Everyone knows me,
He's
the
like, oh no,
dine
this
and
guy eats a lot of
dasher."
food and he runs away.
Yeah.
But no, dude, there's no pants. There was no pants.
Oh my God, there's
Nope,
not pants.
there's no pants.
I told you.
In the
It's on the-
ad,
it's on
there's
the
pants.
ad,
In the
yeah.
game, there's no pants.
Yeah, that boy hanging dong. All right. He's wilding out. All right. Extra points. I'm gonna give it a +7.
+7 for Rocky Rodent. Okay.
Wow.
Tom, what do you think?
See, I struggle in this is where like the negative of the positive, because like I think there's a lot of like funny, no, it's so I'm gonna say negative,
Yeah.
but because
I say, when in doubt, err on the side of negative is my kind of opinion.
but like there's like using hair as like a way of doing it. It's fun. It's just like they don't connect. Like if I were
No.
to tell you like, hey, I mean, like we in our game, you have like crazy different hairstyles, and those hairstyles are like what make all the game mechanics. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you're like, yeah, and the character is like this like rodent, and it'd be like, why?
Because he's like super gross, and he's always hungry. And he's
Always.
kind of like Sonic.
Yeah,
and
it's like
he can go
his
fast.
tongue's out, and like at the end he's trying to get like with the girl, and you're like, but she's what is she? Is she a rodent too? Be like, no, she's human, man. She's human.
There's too much stuff going on.
It's just this is like it just gets weird. It just gets weird. So I didn't get to play, but honestly, some like the car level, genuinely I was like, man, that looks fun. Like it'd be fun to play.
And here's the thing, even with the weird mechanics of it being the hair, like they do a good job with the different mechanics,
Yeah.
Like the boomerang thing, it's a good idea.
So I'm gonna agree with Frank, but just in the opposite direction. So I'm gonna say -7.
-7. All right, Vic, what do you think of Rocky Rodent?
All right. Despite this having one of the most terribly amazing blurbs written about it of anything I've seen.
The stroke,
Yeah, the stroke. It's clearly what we said. It's either a make-a-wish or a dying wish. And I have mad respect for the team, for their loyalty to fulfill this obligation. I think that's amazing that they were like, all right, this is the paragraph we have to go off of. This is the last thing that he said before collapsing in the conference room. And they read that to the development. They're like, yeah, I guess we got to do it then. And we're going to stake it all on Rocky Rodent. That being said, I think we can all agree that in our heart of hearts, we know this game is a sin. I mean, if you look at this horrifying creature right now
it's
has
all
a
wrong.
giant corkscrew on his cracked out hepatitis jaundiced eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's been possessed by a demon of some sort. Look at that. He looks like he's ready
Maybe a
to fight.
Tasmanian devil.
Maybe, Chris, but not as like fun. You know what I mean? Like this is like something that escaped from somewhere and like threw a shirt on and some shoes. He looks like he wants to hurt people. He's going around killing armadillos and eating whatever he wants, never paying the bill.
There never
not
was
once.
a melody. No, there's no
I don't
melody.
think there was. No, I really don't think so. The mob makes sense. I think this is a case that needs to be reopened. But that being said, on principle, I got to give it a -3.
-3. All right. And one
matters.
final. Nothing matters. One final game.
What's your score, Chris? Yeah.
Oh, my score. Thank you. If not for you guys.
Just if there's anything that we have learned, it's this nihilism is alive and well.
My score for Rocky Rodent, I found shockingly, the gameplay experience, the mechanics of having these different tools at your disposal, the platforming of it, fine. It makes sense for this era. I think it's a good fit, but every other choice they made stylistically was just gross. He's a big grosso. I don't like him, and I don't want to be around him. I don't want to see him anymore. Want nothing to do with him.
He's an affront to nature.
Yeah, he shouldn't be
around.
If you think about like you going to hang out and these 3 rodents showed up, like
Oh my
with
gosh.
Awesome Possum and Sparkster, you'd be like, "What's up, man? Like, what's going on?
up?
Like, you want to hang out? You want to have a
Let's
beer?"
talk.
And like,
Yeah.
if when Rhodey shows up, you'd be like, "Oh fuck, Rhodey's here."
I'm calling
like,
the police.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing this again. Like,
No.
you can't keep showing up here.
yeah.
eating all the food. It's oh god, he's the worst. He's the Dine and Dasher. That's what we know him for.
That's what we know
There's
him
a
for.
cease and desist, man. You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Rocky.
Right.
I'm not wearing pants.
Not great.
I'm not wearing
Who's got
pants.
some
I never
food?
will.
Hey, I washed my genitals today.
Yeah.
Well,
you
this
didn't.
morning Before my run.
No, you didn't. We can tell that
Keep
you
flipping
didn't.
upside down. We can tell you didn't.
Hey, nobody likes
I hate
it.
Rocky. I don't want Rocky to be here.
No.
I'm gonna give Rocky a negative. God, I don't know what to do. He's so gross, but like the mechanics are
gross.
pretty good. I'll give him a -5, just because I hate him. I hate him.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like the gameplay behind it, you could honestly like reskin this game. You could change out the sprites and like
I'll take your skin.
I'm telling you, make him a barber.
Yeah, make him a barber. Make a cute animal that's a barber, you know? And
Sure.
I don't know. We're moving on. Fuck that guy. And, the last one is Rocket Knight Adventures. Yeah, definitely the most appealing of the bunch. Too appealing for some critics. And yeah, so we'll start with Frank. Frank, what do you think about our hero Sparkster in his first game, Rocket Knight Adventure?
I think he's pretty cool. It's a fun mechanic with the jetpack. I like how he has kind of like the Zelda sword thing where a thing comes out of his sword.
Yeah.
But you always have it. You don't have to be full health to have it, so that's fun. It seems like they do a lot of gags where he gets surprised. Like he'll be standing
Yeah.
somewhere and then people pop out of nowhere. So that's funny. I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm gonna give it a +8.
Tom, what do you think?
There might be some nostalgia that's kind of leaking in here, but like I think he's super cute and the game mechanics are really fun, and for some reason the pigs are really funny to me, like them running around the second level just like with their butts on fire, like this doesn't get old to me. And it just seems like for each level, like into the future, we saw that like they just came up with like crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some games after the first couple levels, they're just like, we'll just reskin it. But it seems like for this, they legitimately were like, oh no, we're gonna make each level like more and more and more badass. So I love it. And I'm gonna give it a +9.
All right, and Vic, what do you think of Sparkster?
Yeah, I mean, worlds above the others. I love that Half Heart Tom was forged in this game. We saw that, despite all the critics,
unthinkable.
he did the unthinkable. I mean,
The
some of
critic
us
being
didn't. Yeah, well, one critic, but I
Yeah.
don't want you to take points away from me. But the rest of us believed in Tom, and that is what it is. But yeah, it looks really fun. What was okay? So this is where I wanted to get to. The guy. What did the guy say again? He wanted to take his clothes off. Is that about this game?
He wants to see more of him, but let me make sure. I don't want to misquote him. I
No,
don't want to get
please.
into some libel territory. Sparkster is the only one I'd like to see more of. Not in a removal of his little clothes way, but in a
Okay.
sequel.
Which is
So-
like, it's funny because he was like, people are going to think that's how I took it.
Yeah.
Nobody was thinking that.
No one.
But we all are now. But yeah, no, I'll say it's got to be, because I gave the other one +8, and that's just, I'm throwing points around. Like they don't matter. But so I have to give this one for the night, it's got to be a 10. I'm going to give it a 10
it.
for the night. Yeah.
Do it. Nice.
That's it.
10 from Vic. Yeah, I like Tom was saying, this game holds a definitely nostalgic place for me. I mean, you guys heard me reacting to some of the levels I hadn't seen since I played them. Like, I don't want to date myself. 27 years ago, maybe more. But yeah, I mean, and some of the levels, oh god, they're good. The giant mech suit, that's great. It just keeps amping up. You're in space, you know. It's a good game. Some of the general platforming mechanics are smart, like what we're looking on the screen right now about pushing yourself to the foreground and background of a water level like this. It's just a great game to me. I have more nostalgia for this game than any Sonic game, to be honest. And I had forgotten it existed, but still, it doesn't change the fact that it holds a very dear spot in my heart. So I don't think I've ever given a game a 10 before, but I'm going to give Rocket Knight Adventures a 10.
Wow.
And I'll probably play. Maybe I'll try and play through this and its sequel as well. I forgot I left off somewhere. There was, many years later, in 2010, somehow a different company got the license to Sparkster. So in 2010, there was a spiritual successor done by a different company, a British studio, that was released on Xbox Arcade, PS3, and the Steam store. It's actually available on Steam right now, and it looks different. I look at it and I'm like, oh, I have no desire to play that at all. It doesn't have the, that 16-bit look at all. Rocket Knight is available on Steam. It looks like what I think of when I think of an Xbox Arcade game. It's like,
yeah, they seem lame.
It looks like the Unity engine. It's all smooth and like Rocky Rodent, all smooth, Nothing there. So it seems like it incorporates the rocket mechanic, but probably that's it. And to me, a whole bunch of the charm for Sparkster is the animation style that we were talking about, the goofy little pigs running around and stuff. So
it does seem like it's stripped out that is like, I don't know, like the little pigs and stuff. I don't know why, but they're just like, everything's cute. Even the bad guys are cute.
Yeah. But that has mostly positive on Steam. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But I don't know if I will be. So that brings us to the end. I was going to, my intent at the beginning of this was to rank our games. I'm just going to assume we know what number one is. What's the worst one, you guys think? Arguments for the worst?
Like the one I would want to play the least would be Awesome Possum.
Awesome Possum.
Even though
doesn't care about the environment. Hates the environment. That's straight from Tom's mouth.
Hate Rhodey.
Rocky?
Oh, Rocky. Is that his name, Rocky? Oh,
yeah, Rocky Rodent.
Oh, Rocky Rodent. I don't like him, but the game would be more fun than
that son of a bitch. I reluctantly agree. Just because Rocky Rodent handles a lot better. Awesome Possum is very framey, and
Yeah, Awesome Possum is the worst.
You're playing Sparkster, aren't you, or something?
No, hey. Actually, no, I did play, real quick, so the Kamikaze Squirrel one,
here it is.
Way more fun than the Acrobat one. That was terrible. I played three different Acrobat games, all bad. The Squirrel one, that's actually kind of fun, and then I played the other two
racist.
Rocket Knight games, the Sparkster games. That are, they're similar but different. Art style is a little bit different, but the controls seem just as fun.
Is different. I don't know. It's Tom was saying he preferred the Genesis style. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try them out, but I think I like Genesis more too. Yeah, looks less like Jack. All right. Well, we have to get to the prize this evening, and despite my better judgment, it is a clear winner with Tom on top with 300. And honestly, his performance with Half Heart Tom, I think he earned it. He blew us all away. So, we got Tom at 300, Vic at 71, myself at 20, Frank at a resounding, 8?
I just want
a very strong 8. A very strong 8.
Victor, thank you, Frank, for supporting me. When I was in my Half Heart mode. Chris, and you know what, Chris, thank you for being my foil,
Okay. I guess you need one, and hey, I'm happy to be there to support you. If I can offer you some advice, it's a meme that went around maybe some years ago. I don't know. Know your meme. When does it say this came out? No, this meme says it came out. They don't have a history of it. This was uploaded 3 years ago. I think it's older than that. Okay, well, the meme is it's cowboy advice from the cowboy opossum. It says, be rootin', be tootin', and by God, be shootin', but most of all, be kind. And I found a 3D print of a possum cowboy. So congratulations, Tom. You will get your own.
Yeah, that's fucking really cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
He can go on my fold-out table.
Your
We
fold
should
out
all get
table
those,
from
right?
Rumbleverse. Yeah, totally. Just watch that mailbox. Watch that
Oh,
mailbox.
you don't know where I live.
Yeah, no, it's on the way though. It's on the way. It's a
He's got a little
it's
gun
Hogwarts owl
holster.
situation. Yeah, he's got a bandana around his neck, a little hat. Yeah. It's weird though, right? That there were so many opossum video games in 1993.
Yeah.
Something was going on.
Yeah.
Weird. Something in the water.
They are not cute animals either.
No, they're kind of gross.
Yo, check
But-
out. Is it Possum Lady on Instagram?
Yeah, no,
I think-
possums
yeah.
actually are pretty darn cool.
They're really chill.
They're really chill. And fun fact, can't get rabies.
And they eat
And they eat
ticks,
ticks.
right? Yeah, it's good.
Eat
Wow, we
ticks,
said that at
yeah.
the same time. I want to give some points for that, Frank, but it's
They're
over. It's over,
empowering.
Frank. Stop trying to get points, Frank.
And
Frank,
for
how do they
for that, we'll
reproduce?
give you a 281 points. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Chris. That's so much.
Doesn't beat Tom still, but congratulations, Tom. You got yourself a possum cowboy. Be rootin', be tootin', and by God, be shooting. Most of all, be kind.
All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyright Fair Use Exemption for criticism and commentary. Garbage Game Night makes no claims to ownership over any games played and has no affiliation with any developer or publishing company. For additional references on cited articles and quotes, check our episode-related blog at garbagegamenight.com. Or if you have a comment about the game we reviewed or have a suggestion, drop us a line.